I forgot to record a bunch, but we got the cylinder centered on the mill. We got the indicator all set up on it. We're happy. Boring bar in the machine. Quill back up. Tighten that down. Get ready to do this in a second here. We have to set our final depth. We have it set to its slowest speed. We have the boring bar set up. We're just calculating out now how many thousands we have to remove to be 2 millimeters. All right, well, I don't know if this is going to work because when I put this mill, the quill all the way down, it's actually hitting the cylinder here, and my boring bar is like maybe 1/16 of an inch above that bottom lip. So that means we're not actually going to get the whole cylinder, which isn't good. All right, I guess let's see what happens. Forward. Oh, we got to put it in gear. First, that's how nervous I am here. Come on. There you go. Put it in gear. We're going 600 RPM. Quill feed. Engage. High gear. We are... Tables locked. We're going the slowest we can go, and we are going to engage. Let's see what happens. Well, that was not so good. We are off by about... the bore was actually off, it looks like. Unless my machine's fucked up. Not trimmed right, but that doesn't sound logical. Yeah, it's the bore. It's all fucked up. It's not straight, so we're going to fix it. But I broke my tool, so now I got to figure out another one. So I actually have no clue how many thou we're going now. So I said 22, and then I moved it. I don't know, we were at 0, but it fucking wanders, so it wasn't actually 0, right? Because like this is... Let's see what that does, fuck it. Nope, that's nudie. Give you a little gear jam. See? So I went out all that way and it did nothing. Alright, well, we started to bore it, and the cylinder looks like it's just slightly not round. We're only trying to take like 1,000ths or 2,000ths off here, and I broke the tool because I'm guessing I was using the wrong one. So here we are again, trying one more time. Hopefully with the correct tool. Oh, my quill? What's going on here? Oh, shit. Frick me, we have the freaking mill set up in reverse. I'm pretty sure I just hit this. we've run into some issues here. It turns out that I did not set my mill up tram, and now we have 0.85 of a millimeter on one side and 2.2 millimeters on the other of this sleeve. So that means when we board it like this, which isn't acceptable. So we're gonna take this jug off and try to do it again. We're gonna retram the machine, do it again. And I also ordered another one, so that way if we mess it up again, we have a third try. That's all part of the learning curve. This is the first time I've ever bored a cylinder on my own machine in my own garage. So, I mean, you know what? I don't say it came out that bad. We're close to the right size. We're still gonna hone that, make sure we get everything proper, and then we're gonna just do it all again. All right, we have the motor on the fire position. We have the cam cap off. This is my homemade cam. We have the cam marked across. Take the chain off, and we don't want to drop it in the motor, so we're going to run this 8mm through it. Our custom ground cam is held in there very well. Doesn't look like any scoring or any problems with it, so that's cool. Alright, the cam's out. We have to loosen these two and take the 4 head bolts out, or the head nuts for the studs off. These should be torqued at 20 foot-pounds. Sneaking these little guys out. All right, I cleaned everything up just a touch because I'm going to put Play-Doh and squish test all this to make sure our new piston is going to fit. And everything looks actually surprisingly way better than I thought it was gonna. I was actually expecting the piston to be half melted or something, but it doesn't seem like anything bad has happened at all. Alright, so we have some Play-Doh on our piston. We are at top dead center. We're actually going to move that down so that it doesn't catch on its way in. We're going to go put this all back together, put the cam back in, and rotate it around to see what our valve clearance and all that is. Using Play-Doh as an adult is fun, but it doesn't taste as good as it did when I was a kid. Our squish test is going well. We're going to let this dry overnight, and then we're going to take measurements to see exactly how much room we have. It looks like the outside of the piston is going to need to be shaved down to clear the outside of the head. But other than that, it looks like our valves and everything will clear. But again, that still needs to be measured and all that. But we're getting there. All right, so we squish tested one more time just to be sure of everything. Now we're going to pull our jug off. Been there since the 80s, so they might not really want to move. And also this coolant line's still attached, so that doesn't help. The cylinder should come off just like that. Nice and nice. All right. Let's do some measuring and see what we got here. All right, we've got our cylinder in the mill. We retrammed the mill, so hopefully this one will go nice. That's recentered everything. Got to put the boring bar on tomorrow, and we're ready to cut. That's our messed up cylinder. Then you come over here, and we got an intercooler all taken apart. We got our jug off. Obviously, it's in the mill. And look at this. We got some scoring where I overheated this motor one time, and I'm guessing that's what that's from. But that would be some horsepower loss right there. So we're gonna make more power regardless. We also got our piston marked up. Like, we have to cut 8 millimeters in and then taper it out, total depth of a half of a millimeter. And that'll make it clear the head. Then we have to cut some valve reliefs. 20 thou for the intake and 50 thou for the exhaust, and then everything should clear and go together nice and nice. We took 5 thou off this so far just to make our first cut. We took 1 thou to make sure we were center with the bore, then we took 5, so we're at 6. We just added another 5. That's where we're going from here. We're going to turn the machine on, turn it off because it's in neutral. We're going to wait for it to slow and then slam it in gear. Power feed's on, everything's going. We added 5 thou, turn that off, pick that back up. And I just want to check this real quick because I don't remember if I just tightened these. I think I did, but just want to make sure. Yep. Okay. We're spinning 300 RPM. We added 5 thou, so we had a total of 11 thou. All right, so we just adjusted 5 thousandths out. So right now we're at 35 we're at 30 thousandths, which would total 60 thousandths. So after this, I believe we have one more pass, and then we're going to pull it out and hone the rest. So. All right, so here's the second attempt at boring this cylinder, another cylinder. This one came out much better. It looks even all the way around, all the way down. Our final bore is 10 under, right near a 1/10 of a millimeter under, so we're just going to hone that out, get everything to where it's happy, and we're going to go from there. This should be ready to put a piston in shortly. just about there. Ooh. Ah. Very nice. We're going back to honing. Where's the power lube? Fuck. We were going back to honing. Now we gotta find the fucking power lube. It's right there. And this fucking... Bet you everything's gonna die. This thing's probably got one bar, right? Oh, it doesn't even have one. That means I left it on by accident. Oh, but maybe I plugged the other one in? What do you think? Think we plugged the other one in? Are we gonna make a bet on that? I'm gonna bet I did. I'm gonna bet I didn't pick up that 2x4 for the 76th time I walked by it. Hey, I plugged the light in. Look at that. You take one off, you always put another one on, right? And you take your freaking glove off. I actually really like this Braun light way more than I like this the Icon light. The Braun cheap guy is better, besides for the fact that it's kind of limp. As long as you're not running around with it, I guess it's fine. But this one, you turn it on, and you could pivot down this way. The Icon only pivots this way. Well, that doesn't freaking help me. I want to see. Power lube, drill. Let's get this party going. Nice little squirt there. Oh, Jesus. Ooh, I'm holding my life away. Looking for a better way. For a honing machine. There's a couple lines in there just for me checking the bore. How does everything always end up being such a mess? Like, it just happens so fast. Does anybody else relate to that? So I got my bore here, and I think I messed up. I had this set, and I just got this, and I believe I was reading it wrong. And now, when I set this in my caliper, I can zero it. Very nice. I have the improper tool. We're going to achieve the proper job with it, right? So we put this in, and we get to 0, right? And then the number goes back up. So negative means that we are under or overboard. Positive means we're underboard. Well, I messed up here, and pretty much this whole bore is, let's see, 7th thou, 6th thou, yeah, 6th thou, 7th thou. So pretty much everywhere we are about 7 thousandths too big. I'm just going to chalk that up as it's a turbo motor, and I built it a little wider so it doesn't heat seize. More boost. Right? A lot going on here. I'm going to slide this down onto a rod. What are we hitting here? Are we hitting a rod is the question. And the answer is most likely yes. Okay. I'd venture to say that wrist pin is in for the moment. I venture to say the bore at the top of this cylinder is rather large. We have the jug back off, we have the rings on, and now we are rolling the motor back down. And it looks like the piston is hitting the crankshaft. So now we need to figure out what's hitting and cut it. Alright, so we ran into another issue here where our piston does not clear the crankshaft to make a full rotation of the motor. So what we did was we put some Dykem on here, and you can see where it's hitting right on these four corners of the skirt. And this skirt is taller than this skirt, so we're just gonna cut some of that off. Very scientific. And then until it clears. Ka-chow. Cool things today. Piston's gonna get cut in the lathe. It's on some brass shims there. I don't really think this is the best way to do it, but I don't really think I want to figure out how to chuck it in the mill. The spindle indicator from the mill fits the compound on the lathe, so you can check everything. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, let's cut some shit and see what happens. All right, a lot going on here, I guess. I always say that. I don't know if it's a lot going on or not. Piston that's going in the scooter, piston that's out of the scooter. Oh, wrong way. Oh, that's crazy. I've been doing that for how many years and I still turn it the wrong way. Oh, yeah. And I turned that the wrong way too. What's going on with me? Wow, lathe's got rust on it. I haven't been using it enough. Okay, let's turn this here, and then we'll adjust this here to that angle there, and that will make the angle the same when we're done. Okay, right there. Oh, okay, we're about centered on there. We're gonna spin this really fast because, you know, that's just the best way to do it. Oh, we're gonna, doesn't just make spontaneous contact. Let's see, pretty close there, pretty close there. Okay, let's see what happens here, boys. Piston probably just gonna fly out and hit me. I guess I should probably measure how much I want to take off, huh? We're gonna just take 3 millimeters off of this piston. We did some measuring, and from the bottom of the wrist pin to the bottom of this skirt is 3 millimeters longer on this piston. So we're just gonna remove some material there. See what happens, you know? If this doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna do my best to make it happen, you know? That looks good. Okay, we have our jug back on. We don't have a base gasket on it. I just remembered that, forgot about it. Our piston was too tall on the bottom. The skirt was too long. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the skirt was too long. All right, we have our piston back in again. Our skirt was too long. We fixed that. Now we don't have a base gasket on there, so we're not going to be able to measure deck height or do any of that cool stuff. We don't need to. We're just going to see if it rotates over. Then we're going to go on to flipping the piston the other way and making sure we can cut our relief cut to make sure we're at 0 deck height. And then from there, we're going to put the head on, squish test it, and see if our valves hit, which I think they are gonna. Let's see what happens here. Oh, good news. It spins over all the way around now. This is good. I like this. I like this a lot. This feels good. Alright, so we got our piston in the lathe. We're within 2,000ths, which I think I'm okay with. We tested this already on one of the stock pistons and it actually worked out perfect. I have my compound set at my 10.5 degree angle. We're good on everything else. I have the heat on. As you can see by the distance away from me, the thermostat is set to high because it is freaking cold out. Let's get this piston cut and see what we can make happen. Alright, so right here is our 0. We're just touching the piston, so we're at 5 thousandths. So that means we're going to go around 1, 2, that's 250 thousandths. Then we're going to add 80 to that, so we're going to go to 85. Now we're at 320 thousandths, which should be somewhere around 8 millimeters, which should take care of what we need. We're going to push this guy in now. We're just going to make a nice little cut and see how it looks. Just touch it there. Okay. We touched our material. It looks nice and round. And let's see what we can do. So we're going to push this guy in. Right there where we're about to touch. And then we're going to roll this guy out now. And just like that, we now have a tapered piston. And we should have about 3 millimeters of ring lam left, which should still be enough to not break when we put it together. Alright, so we're getting somewhere. We cleaned up a little bit because I was starting to lose my mind. We cut this piston down. We actually cut a demo piston. We cut a stock one just to make sure our angle was right and it would rub the head right, and it does. So then we cut this one that we're using. Now we're putting everything together so that way we could squish test it without the cam connected and make sure the piston's not contacting the head in any weird way. Then we're gonna hook the cam chain up. We're gonna try it with some valves. I believe this is our final squish test and everything looks awesome. We taper our piston. It now has a 0.5 millimeter, if not less, of clearance, about a 0.5 millimeter. Our exhaust valve, I think I had, when I originally squish tested, I think my cam was off tooth. I fixed that. So now our intake valve has what looks to be plenty of clearance. Our exhaust valve has a lot of clearance. We just need to measure and make sure, and then we're good. Waiting on a 75 millimeter head gasket, some upgraded valve springs, and the motor's done, going back together. We're gonna cut the flywheel now.